Good evening, everyone. We begin with some breaking news out of Odessa, where we have just received word that a stabbing led to a standoff with police. CBS 7's Lauren Landman is on the scene right now and brings us the latest information. Lauren, what do you know at this point?
Tatum, it actually just ended a couple of minutes ago. Multiple police officers responded to the scene just shortly after 4 p.m. this afternoon. Upon arrival, police discovered that a 31-year-old male stabbed his father multiple times. The man was then transported to the hospital with what officials are calling life-threatening injuries. Neighbors of the residents were asked to evacuate their homes. They say that the 31-year-old man was schizophrenic and could be seen arguing with his father earlier today, even walking up and down the street yelling at himself. They also say that they saw the incident happen and the man was stabbed in his chest, on his arms, and once in the back of the head. Now, like I said earlier, the man is in custody. Police were able to talk him out of his house with his hands up without any further incident. Now police say that they must secure the scene, make sure no one else is inside, and gather all evidence. For now, live in Odessa, I'm Lauren Landman, CBS 7 News.
Lauren, thank you. We will, of course, continue to follow that situation as it develops. The rain is finally here, and it will be sticking around for several days. The wet weather is much needed, but it is causing a few problems. We'll tell you about those in just a moment. But first, we want to turn right now to our weather specialist, Daryl Ward, who joins us in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Daryl, the system is moving pretty slow over the area. It's putting some places in danger of flooding, right? So where are we seeing the worst of it?
Okay, the worst of it has been the northern parts of the Permian Basin. Andrews, for example, in Andrews County. Radar estimates anywhere between 6 and 8 inches of rain have fallen over the Andrews area in the last 24 hours, and also over into the southwestern parts of the basin. So let's take a look at the radar. I'll show you where the heavy rain is now. Some areas, for example, Andrews County, the rain is finally moving out away from there, but other areas around Alpine, into the mountains around Jeff Davis, and right around Pecos are seeing some pretty heavy rain that has brewed up here. And again, this is all very slow moving, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, north-northeast mostly, and because it is slow moving, the heavy rain in it is giving us opportunities for some flash flooding, and that potential will stay with us on into the evening hours. As far as what we're looking at later this evening, 10 o'clock, more rain is possible as we go on into the evening, although as we get into the later night hours, the possibility of rain starts to move out as this more stable atmosphere gets in. We're going to be looking at temperatures dropping into the evening hours, and I'll be back here in a few minutes. We'll take a look at your Pinpoint 7-day forecast and your football outlook. It's Friday Night Football. I'll have that for you too. Tatum?
Daryl, thank you. As you just heard, Andrews County has seen some of the worst flooding so far. We continue our weather coverage with Deanne Lopez, who joins us now from Andrews, where the rain is causing a lot of inconvenience all around town. Deanne?
Lucky for us, the heavy rain has died down and it's only sprinkling right now. But take a look at where I'm standing. It looks like one giant pond or lake, right? Except for this right here is a street, and over here to my right is a parking lot to Pioneer Park. Now we're going to cut to some video of some of the flooding going on around Andrews. I spoke with residents earlier today who say that they haven't seen rain or flooding like this in over 15 years. And so far, the streets surrounding Lakeside Park have been closed off due to the water from the lake spilling over and the flooding caused by the rain. Now, I spoke with Police Chief Bud Jones earlier today, who say that it's definitely going to take a couple of days to get this flooding all cleared up. Now, if you take a look back here, you can see some permanent pumps going to work trying to soak up as much water as they possibly can. And Police Jones also mentioned to us that there hasn't been any injuries, thank goodness. Only a few cars that got stuck in some of the flooding, which I'm surrounded by, but got out and towed away okay. Now, our weather specialists say about 5 to 8 inches of rain has fallen, and scattered showers are expected to last until tomorrow morning. For now, reporting live in Andrews, Deanne Lopez, CBS 7 News.
Deanne, thanks very much. The rain is also putting a damper on Midland Lee's homecoming celebrations. The homecoming court presentation that was supposed to happen tonight has now been delayed and will take place during the next home game against Permian High School. A West Texas county lands at the top of a list that does not shine a bright light on our area. Ector County has received the distinction of being the fattest in the state. CBS 7's Caitlin Crawford tells us about a new report that was released this week. Caitlin?
A recent report was released this week ranking Texas as the 15th overall state for the highest obesity rates. Today I'm here at MCH in Odessa to find out why obesity has grown to such vast proportions.
As we have an influx of population, we have many people who are working in the oil field, and they do work hard all day long. However, they're not getting the cardiovascular exercise they need with the cardiovascular benefits.
Bariatrics coordinator Jessica Chorney-Wilson told me that 70% of adults ages 18 and up are overweight or obese in Ector County. And she told me that fast food isn't the only large contributor to this epidemic.
It has to do with culture, behavior, our environment that we live and work in.
In 1990, not a single U.S. state had an obesity rate above 15%. But now Ector County has a higher obesity rate than the state average.
And technology alone has made our lives easier so we don't burn as many calories, yet we're eating more than we did 20, 30 years ago.
Jessica recommends people to focus on improving their quality of life by creating a healthier lifestyle.
It's not about looks, it's about life, which is our motto for our program. People need to think about it in health benefits because the health problems that follow obesity are many.
With your eye on West Texas, Caitlin Crawford, CBS 7 News.
Beginning next year, Ector County ISD freshmen and sophomores may have to stay on school grounds during the lunchtime. Superintendent Thomas Crow plans to recommend a closed campus policy next year. With the influx of students and traffic in the area, the new rule would cut down on the chances of students getting hurt during the lunch period.
And it's a very dangerous situation, and I just don't feel comfortable putting students in that that number of students in that dangerous of a situation.
Crow may also finally be getting the input he's been looking for on proposed boundary changes in ECISD. At last night's meeting at Bonham Junior High School, about 100 people showed up. That's a lot more than the handful who attended the first public meeting on Monday. A pretrial hearing just wrapped up in anticipation of a jury trial against Union Pacific. The trial centers on the deadly November 2012 accident where 4 veterans were killed when a train collided with their show of support parade float. CBS 7's Matt Rist has been in court all day and joins us now with the latest. Matt?
Now, we're not able to actually take you inside the courtroom, but I do have some information to share with you about what it's all about today. Now, the plaintiff in this case is seeking to get some information, seeking to compel Union Pacific to turn over some data that they're asking for, everything from how fast trains were moving at this intersection to signal crossing times, even communications internally about whether or not Union Pacific knew about a defect at the crash site of this fatal incident. Now, coming up tonight at 10, we're going to show you more, hopefully hear from some of these key players in what is a very important case here in Midland as we remember the tragic November 2012 train crash that left 4 veterans dead. We're going to have more on this story coming up tonight at 10. With an eye on Midland County, I'm Matt Rist, CBS 7 News.
The Energy Tower project is dead, but what does that mean for the old courthouse and Centennial Plaza? According to the city's spokesperson, no new proposals for development have come to the table, but plans to demolish the courthouse remain in place. The city does intend to develop that piece of property in the future. However, there is no formal plan. If you frequently drive on Loop 250 in Midland, you can expect delays into the early part of 2015. Today, the Texas Department of Transportation announced that they will be resurfacing the west and north sides of the loop over the next several months. TxDOT says the construction will dramatically alter traffic flow.
If we're doing the passing lanes, we're down to 1 lane. If we're doing the driving lanes, all the exits will be closed on those 2 intersections. So it's going to be a lot more traffic getting off on the service road, and that's where we're asking people to please find an alternate route. And if you can't find an alternate route, give yourself 30 more minutes of drive time. You can kind of see
beginning Monday, the passing lanes on Loop 250 between Garfield and Midkiff will be closed as the project begins. For a complete look at how the project will affect your commute, you can visit our website at cbs7.com. Keep your jacket handy. Those colder temperatures along with the rain are sticking around for a while. Here's a live look outside right now over the city of Odessa. You can see the clouds are still lingering. Our weather specialist Daryl Ward has your complete 7-day forecast coming up after the break. You're watching CBS 7 News, your eye on West Texas.
Good evening. Welcome back to CBS 7. Thank you for being here. Boy, howdy. Hard to believe a couple of days ago we hit 100 degrees, and we have seen definite drops today. As a matter of fact, temperature is continuing to slide down. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's look at the rain right now, because there's still some areas, especially out in the Trans-Pecos west parts of the Permian Basin, that are seeing some pretty heavy rain still as we go on into the evening. And as part of the problem, this again is fairly slow moving. You can see it's moving north-northeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, west of Fort Stockton, right around Pecos and on up into southeast New Mexico. Now, the green shaded areas, flash flood warnings in effect till 6:45 for Andrews, Dawson, Gaines, and Martin County. Winkler County, flash flood warning in effect till 6:45. Eddy, Loving, Reeves County, 7:45 for the flash flood warning. And for the Jeff Davis area, Brewster County, flash flood warning in effect until 8:30 p.m. because of the heavy rain and some flooding that has been occurring. Those flash flood warnings are in effect in those areas that are shaded green. Now, let's take a look outside. On the other hand, some folks right now have quieted down considerably. Big Spring, under mostly cloudy skies. It's cool and breezy, but the rain pretty much has moved out of the Big Spring area. And as we look back over towards Odessa, same story. After getting some rain earlier, it has turned into a cloudy and cool day with some breezy winds. And speaking of cool and breezy, our temperature right now at Midland International has continued falling during the day. 58 right now, winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour out of the northeast, humidity at 93%. Barometer is rising, and our high today was 77. That was right after midnight, about 12:17 this morning. And the temperature, the low, keeps sliding down. Right now, the low so far today has been 58, 4,300. It's almost half an inch of rain at Midland International. Other folks got a lot more. Andrews, for example, radar estimates anywhere from 6 to 8 inches in the Andrews area. Water vapor image, we're going to start seeing a little more stable atmosphere move in, a ridge of high pressure starting to truck into the area. And as a result, our chance of rain is going to start dropping overnight and into tomorrow. Football night, Friday night, here we go. For Amarillo, Tascosa, and Odessa High at Ratliff Stadium at 7:30. Cloudy, about 57. Windy, northeast 15 to 25 miles an hour. Still a chance of more rain, but mostly you're going to be looking at cloudy and cool with breezy conditions. And for Grande Stadium, South Lake Carroll taking on Midland Lee. Homecoming for the Lee Rebels, 57 at game time. Northeast winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. There is still a chance of some rain in the mix. And as we look at the sky forecast here, starting 10 o'clock this evening up to midnight, you can see the possibility of rain still in the area. But as we get into early Saturday morning, you watch that chance of rain start to go away as, like I said, the cooler, more stable, denser air moving in. We may see some cloud cover still on Saturday, but much less chance of rain as we go through the day, and definitely a cooler day for your day on Saturday as we go. Here is your pinpoint 7-day forecast, and this reflects what we're talking about now. Saturday is definitely going to be a cool day. Cool as in, hey, it's cool, it's Saturday, but no, seriously, cool temperatures too. 65 on Saturday, only a very slight chance of some more rain. Sunday, mild, clearing skies for a day, 78. A little bit warmer next week, but we do have another system that could bring us some rain. It's not super big chance, but Monday through Wednesday, we got a chance of some more rain, and then warm towards the end of the week. But your Saturday and your Sunday, pretty cool on Saturday, mild on Sunday, not bad.
All right, Daryl, thank you very much. All this rain doesn't have to get in the way of your weekend plans. Coming up after the break, we'll see how the wet weather doesn't mean you still can't have a great time at the Permian Basin Fair. In fact, you may even be able to get in at half the price. You're watching CBS 7 News, your eye on West Texas. The weather has not been cooperating with the Permian Basin Fair this year, but as long as there are no dangerous storms this weekend, the fair will be open for some fun, come rain or shine. Permian Basin Fair President Steve Compton tells CBS 7 how the fair is preparing for the potential bad weather this weekend.
But in the event that it is raining, we've got a lot of stuff under the tents. Our refreshment tent is where our main entertainment will be tonight. We also have Barn B available that we can move some of these grounds acts into.
Fun. Tickets for the fair tonight will also be half price or just $5. But in order to do that, you have to use the promotional code HIGH5 online or just say the words High Five at the ticket booth or simply wear your favorite sports team jersey. With all the rain the Permian Basin has been getting lately, it's hard to believe other areas in Texas are in the midst of a drought. One such place is Big Bend National Park, and as a result, they have an extreme water shortage. Visitors to Big Bend will be limited to 5 gallons of water per day and are encouraged to conserve further when possible. Visitors should also consider bringing their own water to the park. Time now for a look at sports. Both Marshall Hughes and Matthew Villanueva are live right now at Grande Communications Stadium for the Midland Lee homecoming game. They will preview the game, plus many more of this week's in week 3 of our high school football sports. It's next in sports.
Welcome back to CBS 7. We are live at Grande Stadium in Midland. I'm Marshall Hughes alongside Matthew Villanueva for our game of the week. The Lee Rebels taking on the South Lake Carroll Dragons on homecoming. And on a gloomy night, feels like playoff weather, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely feels like deja vu, mid-November of 2013 last year when they played in the playoffs, huh?
Definitely so. Let's take an in-depth look at the Rebels matchup tonight. For me, it all starts on the defensive side of the ball. They are really going to need to improve. Right now, they're giving up over 350 yards per game, and if they do that against South Lake Carroll, they are not going to like the end result, Matthew.
And I want to move it over to the offense. Right now, what they need to do is cut down on the turnovers, Marshall. The past 2 games, they've committed 7 turnovers. They need to cut that down, especially if they want a shot at redemption.
They really do. That's going to be another key. Now, looking at another team who's playing on their homecoming, the Odessa High Broncos. They'll be at Ratliff Stadium tonight against Amarillo Tascosa. And for more on that matchup, here's Caitlin Crawford.
Thanks, Marshall. I'm coming to you from a very windy Ratliff Stadium out here, and there is the possibility of rain, so be sure and bundle up tonight if you're coming out to the stadium. Now, the big question for the homecoming game tonight is, can the Broncos build off of their 608-yard rushing game they had last week against Lubbock Coronado? Coming to you from Ratliff Stadium, Caitlin Crawford, CBS 7 News. Back to you guys.
Gary Brewster. Caitlin, thanks. Now looking at the Odessa High Broncos, they are going to need to have a lot of improvement right now. Sebastian Galindo having a great year, almost 600 yards in 2 games. Matthew, how good is this offense?
Well, I was there for the practice this past week, and these offensive linemen, they're all returners. They came from 2012, the year where they had that 1-9, 2-8 season. They know what it's like, and look at them now 2 years later. They're contenders, Marsh.
They really are. Now looking at our other Class 6A matchups tonight, right now it's Midland High. They're going to be on the road against Hearst LD Bell. That starts at 7:30 against a pretty good Hearst team right now. They are 0-2 on the season. Now looking at the Permian Panthers, they're headed the other way to El Paso, taking on Americus. And the good news for Permian, they're 2-0 for the first time since 2008. Now the bad news, they've lost to El Paso Schools the last 3 games in a row, the last 3 seasons. That's going to be important. Now while we're at Grande Stadium, Matthew, right next door is the Texas League Championship Series at Security Bank Ballpark. It's the Midland Rockhounds against the Tulsa Drillers.
It's game 3. The series is tied at 1 apiece. The winner of this one normally has a great advantage, Marsh. We'll see if the Rockhounds can pull it off.
We will. We'll find out later tonight at 10:15 for the 5th quarter for your high school football highlights. We'll also throw some Rockhounds in there. We have to. That's at 10:15 right here on CBS 7. For now, I'm Marshall Hughes alongside Matthew Villanueva from Grande Stadium. We'll be back after the break.
Daryl has a last look at weather.
And we're going to be seeing a chance of rain still into tonight and then less chance on Saturday. Definitely cooler, 65 on Saturday, then mild 78 on Sunday. Back into the 80s with a chance of rain midweek next week.
All right, sounds good, Daryl. Thanks very much. Entertainment Tonight is coming up next. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock. Make it a great evening.